Hello, hello, hey. Are we live? We're streaming live. This is July 28th, and in 2 days, pre-orders coming out with The Matching Spell Part 2 and several other commissioned comics that went into the Kickstarter for the third volume of Tales from the Crypt Keeper. Volume 3 is actually the first volume I've actually put out. A little backwards. So starting with volume 3, and we'll probably do maybe volume 4 next, and then go back and do volume 1 and 2. But yeah, only volume 3. This is the first volume I'm putting out, so a little crazy. But yeah, we're working on the matching spell, and this is a continuation of the matching spell that I only got a few pages in to Tales from the Crypt Keeper 17, along with Slippery Slope, the comic. So that's what we're working on today. We're shading, and I've got my mic on. So if you want to if you want to do any chatting, I'll try to pull the chat up. And let me go ahead and try to share a link to this live stream. So if anybody wants to watch it live, they can. Let me see here. Where are we? View my channel. There we go. We're gonna share. Copy. I'll put that up in the Discord. And where else? If you're interested in the Crypt Keeper comic volume, there's a way to get that through the shop, the Selfie shop. It's a physical copy, so you can get, I think there's either 4 or 5 comic issues in that volume, but it's like 100 pages. And the first time I'm doing the the physical copy of Tales from the Crypt Keeper, so very exciting. And you can get it on that still, but the ship out date is probably 2 to 3 weeks away. All right, let's see here. I wanted to do it on X too. We'll share it on X, Twitter. All right, here we go. It's another hot day. Been outside and had to make another coffee because the energy's got sucked out of me. I'm trying multiple ways to stay cool today. Today's going to be our hottest day of the year. They're expecting it to get to 101, which is very unusual. I don't know that it's ever gotten to be 101 degrees in the 5 years I've been here. But I'm pretty sure it's gotten that hot before. Got like a little 5-inch fan like right next to my computer blowing on me, which makes a big difference. I don't remember if it's a 5-inch fan or a 5-watt fan. It uses the little USB cord. Also, gonna try to keep my door closed so that the cold air stays in here. All right, so let's kind of talk about what we're doing here. Today I'm going to be shading. I'm going to be saving the backgrounds for last. Remember, I got really rushed for time when I was trying to finish up the matching spell in issue 17, and so the backgrounds kind of fell to the wayside, and I did backgrounds as fast as I could. They're kind of boring backgrounds anyway, because it's just like in somebody's apartment. But this is picking up. I'm probably going to try to include like Maybe for pre-order, I'll include 3 pages from the previous comic to help uh, people remember where it picked off, where it started, or where it last left off, and said to be continued. The other fun thing I was trying out with this comic was I've been inking with one hand behind my back, trying to get better like posture, and I think it had a really good effect where I felt like I had much better control of my hands because maybe I'm focusing on the one hand. Remember when I worked at Starbucks, my shift manager always said, you can't multitask and do the same quality of job while you're multitasking. Like, the more tasks you add on to your plate, the less quality each job gets. I guess that's the only way to phrase it, but wish it wasn't true, but it is. I mean, like, that's something that stayed with me for a long time. And it's like, yes, you can multitask, but you just can't multitask and expect to do a stand-up job, a really good job on stuff you're multitasking. Remember, I was trying to draw these characters with a little bit of weight to them. Not like they're in the best shape. Just kind of like make sure they feel like they're kind of everyday average kind of characters. Or not average, but people that you would see. I want them to feel familiar, feel very relatable. Okay, so let's go ahead and we'll just do shading on each girl, and then so I got it started a little bit. You can see I tried to give that that belly a little bit of undershading, underlighting, I guess you should call it, not undershading. Helps give it that soft curvature sort of feel. She's got a fun face over here. Wasn't really sure what face to give her. She wanted to be like trying to say a lot with an expression. What is she saying? She's like not impressed, and also kind of insulting. So might mess around with her eyebrows just a little bit more. Maybe she needs more squinty eyes to help communicate that expression. Because right now it looks a little more like concern. Less, I feel like there needs to be more disdain in her look, more judgment. Kind of wanted to be a little bit like amused too, like amused disdain. Very specific expressions. Very complicated. You notice the pictures where they have like the dogs judging the owners. The dogs always are always females. Have you seen those where they're like, in Japan, studies have been shown that female dogs judge their owners 70% more than male dogs. You see a picture of the female dog giving this like super judgmental look. And it's so true, because I mean, you don't need a Japanese study for that. You just look at my female dog to know that she's judging me. Okay, let's see. The eyebrow coming across kind of makes it a little masculine. So I'm gonna see if there's anything I can do to fix that. Well, maybe I just kind of shade her forehead, forebrow, her forehead a little bit, so it doesn't stick out quite as much. Just kind of in shadow. I think my dog heard me talking about her. She's over there being like, "You're the one judging me." Okay, so now, oh yeah, I got the previous page over here to help pull colors from. She's got like this dyed hair strands, you know, like she's been playing with some hair dye. Wanted to try to do like a goth girl with this character. Probably need a reference image to see what the nose does when it's crinkled up and angry like that. Kind of do a little bit of just like shading as far as, what do you call it, like distance, communicate foreground and background. Let's grab a do a like a gradient to help emphasize this light source over here. All right, so let's give her her interesting looking lipstick. Wanted to give her a dark lipstick. These are lips, you know? Okay, so let's do her, maybe we'll do her eyeshadow on a different layer. Probably need to do, where is that? I think it's a little too flat right here. So let's go ahead and add some highlights now. We'll add some red to her cheeks in a few minutes. And that red will communicate the anger. Angry. Chris Farley. Angry. Sir, do you know you're drinking Colombian decaf crystal coffee? What? You're drinking Colombian decaf crystal coffee. You lied to me. I don't like that. Okay. Kind of thinking this is a little bit strange right here. Sort of. It's a little strong. Okay, that's better. Let's get a little bit on the chin. Take a little on the chin. Okay. Got our arm over here. Might as well just use this airbrush. I can't believe summer is almost over already. I think like school's starting in like 2 weeks for everybody. I'm like, did I even do a summer vacation? I don't think I did. That's not good. I did some summer family stuff. I'll have to make up and do like fall summer vacation. What is that called? Thanksgiving break or fall break? It's really a better time to vacation anyway because the heat. Unless you're by a pool, it seems a little too hot to do anything. We're gonna become water world, where all the polar ice caps melt and everybody's like, fill my yard with water because it's too hot. That was the plot twist we never saw coming. We made it water world because we wanted more water. I was thinking yesterday, I was like, help me out, is TV, like television shows, TV shows, is TV dead? Like, are they making any TV shows anymore? Are they just, have they figured out like we don't need to spend money on TV shows anymore as long as we have a back catalog? I feel like the world is in a, I guess culture, the world is in a really weird place now with, I feel like we're kind of going into the dark ages a little bit, you know, in a very broad sense, you know, zoomed way out, you know, because it's all in the, you know, the capitalistic model, whatever is the most efficient way of creating content or having content is what's going to happen. So it seems like, well, if I can make money by just using stuff that's already been done and not having to make new stuff, might as well. And I don't know that that's such a bad thing right now because it seems like everything they do put out is pretty bad. They're like, there's not a lot of high quality new content. Because like I don't know that I've watched any new TV shows. I can't think of a single new TV show that I've watched besides Star Wars shows. Everybody was into Game of Thrones, but that was like 20 years ago, it feels like. Let's get rid of that. they did Wheel of Time was on Amazon Prime. I just kind of got that was, I mean, Wheel of Time wasn't bad. It got a little it felt kind of, it seems like it was falling victim to the getting a little too woke, you know? And again, that's a very like hard to describe term, but I just wasn't really enjoying Wheel of Time anymore. So it might not have been that it was woke, but might have just been losing direction. Okay, let's get like a 7. So we're pretty much just using a pin. What's another show? I enjoyed watching Louder Milk, but I think that's an old show. I just never had seen it before. Louder Milk is like a comedy. It was basically like Office Space. That guy's the main character in Office Space, kind of playing that character again. He does really well in that character, in that role. He's definitely been typecast, but I enjoyed Louder Milk. And I think I saw, I mean, there's been many times I've seen advertisements or fake advertisements for Mindhunter, to like a new season of Mindhunter, but I know Netflix doesn't really do that sort of thing. They don't really say, oh, a lot of people want this, let's do it. So I kind of feel like they must be fake advertisements. I liked Mindhunter though. I really, oh, that was another movie I watched recently that really kind of surprised me, was Ted K, the Unabomber documentary. It's not a documentary, but it's like it was kind of like a documentary. What do you call that? Like a drama documentary where it's an action. It's like a documentary turned into a drama. And there was so much I did not know about Ted Kaczynski. They really humanized him. I'll just say that. I get kind of worried when I watch like serial killer kind of movies, because I usually end up kind of sympathizing or siding with the serial killer a little too much, and get a little bit worried about my own my own brain, I guess. But I watch a lot of stuff on Tubi, but Ted K was on Tubi, and it was kind of a fascinating documentary. I feel I finished it and I was kind of like, well, I mean, Ted K was a very smart guy, but he was like, the movie just kind of emphasizes some of his very practical what's the word, observations and predictions and conclusions, and by the end you're kind of like, well, he was kind of right. It wasn't right in the way he handled things, but it's kind of like he was a little too far, but it was crazy stuff. But I think some of the main messages were how, like capitalism and modern modern humans are like, destroying the earth and ultimately bringing about our own demise, probably. A lot about protecting nature, about the dangers of technology and how technology is making us docile, taming us, or what? The storyline in there is that his brother settles down with a wife and kind of left. Ted K was like out in the woods living like he idolized like a caveman, which is very kind of scary for me because that's a very old sort of storyline in my head, whereas like you just kind of imagine how a caveman was living, and that usually that's not a bad way to model your life or your living, where the more natural you can be, it's probably not a bad thing. And I think there's like the paleo diet, that kind of thing. There's a lot of, I don't think I'm the only one. I hope I'm not the only one who thinks like that. But yeah, he was very much, he was way far out there, living off the land, no plumbing, no hot water, build a cabin in the woods and live out there. And his brother was like that when he was younger, and then he moved away from that life and got married and started living a life in modern society. And Ted K talks about like how his getting married has made him like a tamed dog, like gone the way wolves go from being wild to being a tamed animal, transition from wolf to dog. And that's the other big message in the movie, of how man's wild side, our natural side, has been stripped away and back to being almost controlled by technology. I think that's the message. And the other message is that it's just going to keep getting worse. The more you rely on technology, the more you're plugged into it. It was very Matrix. What's the third movie? Matrix Revolutions. And some of it was like pulled straight out of that, or it was the opposite, because a lot of it was straight out of Ted K's writings. And I'm pretty sure he wrote that stuff before Matrix Revolutions was a movie. So he shared a lot of the same views as that movie was trying to warn about. Okay. All right, let's give this a nice gradation. There we go. Should probably get a soft round. All right, let's come in and give it a little bit of the underlighting. There we go. Seems a little messy up here. Okay, so let's go ahead and give this some highlight. Make it kind of pop off the page a little bit. Maybe we should just go ahead and give it a bing, bing. Always reminds me of like the planets aligning, like a solar system. Should we do any on our stomach? Make it a little softer. All right, I need to know what color her lips are. There we go. Oh, I don't think I pulled the right color. Go ahead and fix her eyes while we're here. Something happened. What next? What next? Let's get her lips. It's crazy when you zoom in this far, you see tons of little problems. But it's probably not even visible when you're at the normal viewing range. Okay, my music stopped. What kind of music are we gonna listen to? Wet leg. Okay, let's move on to her bra. Let me think, where is it? Okay. Want to make sure we get the same color. It continues very nicely. if we should do like a... Let's do soft round. Let's tap it in. Okay, let's do a little bit of under shading here. Okay, now we'll go for a highlight. Okay. So maybe the hair next. Let's take that back. Okay, highlights. Let's get to our hair brush. Okay, so let's move on to the rest of the outfit, which would be her pants, both people's pants. I'm trying to remember what kind of shading I did for her pants. I can't remember if I did. Oh, shoot. Did I do dark shading or light shading? I think a light shading. Let's see. Sometimes I'll start with the darkest for jeans. I think I did like a medium though. Yeah. So medium. It's kind of the slowest way to do it. Probably you can get a little bit more speed if you do just like a single color shade. I'm doing like what you call a 3 shade. A darkness, a lightness, and then a middle. Let's use the airbrush with texture. And she's supposed to have a chain. We'll try to add that in last. Alright, let's give her a little bit more. I think her leg is looking a little too skinny right here. Let's do tie that color in a little bit. Make it look, less skinny by adding a highlight on the side. That kind of looks like a peg leg. There we go. That's good enough. Alright, let's go straight to dark. I wanted to just do very easy shading down here and pretty much go straight to black under the knees. Okay, now we can do some highlighting. Let's do a little bit of a, actually let's do like a smoke detail. Give it a little texture. There we go. Now we can do redheads. Let's try to match, color match, like a paint company. Is that what we did, or we did? Yeah, I can tell that's darker. These pants gotta look really tight. So tight they're about to snap. Let's do, what do I have a airbrush with texture? Let's do that. Okay, now let's do highlight. I'm gonna try and make it look sort of skin colorish. I think that'll give the impression that like maybe the skin is kind of pressed so tight against the pants that's kind of see-through a little bit. There we go. Actually, I don't think I should go that bright right under it. Let's go darker. Help that fray pop out. Let's actually go darker. That'll make it pop even more. Actually, I want to go even darker. Okay. Last little piece. Okay, so maybe we do some slight color changing now. Let's just collect all the skin color. And so we're going to do like a little bit of red. I'm trying to think what we should do. Soft smoke detail. This is going to help a little bit with the skin tones, kind of make it a little more dynamic. Give it a little bit more of the breath of life. Let's erase that a slight bit. All right, so we got some. Oh, I forgot to do her hair over here. Let's add some more hair. Oh yeah, we gotta do the hair dye. Is that what we're gonna call it? Alright, so now with the hair dye, what are we going to do for that? Did we do like a hue layer maybe? Color? Let's see what color that is. It's like a green. Alright, let's see if this works. Yeah, that works. I bet we can do the eyeshadow on this layer as well. And the eyeshadow was like a purplish maroon. Color. Well, that's not too dark. Maybe we should go try darker. I guess it's not bad. It looks more like a rock star. More rock star than goth. Let's see if hue does better. No. Hard light looks. We might switch to hard light when we do it in the next page. OkayOkayOkOk. OkayOkayOkOk. Now this is going to be a background that probably add a figure here too, but I've been holding off on doing that. Now this shading is, I'm pretty happy with this shading. But let's get these colors fixed. Let's get our. I think I inked her lips. Whoops. Alright, so now for the eyeshadow, let's go ahead and just try something different. Because that was not the right color. I'm going to move to that dark purple. How about color burn? Let's see about that. This is more red, but maybe that's not bad. I kind of like the red. Let's try a hard light though. Whoa, vivid light is like hot pink. Linear light. We might try linear light. That kind of looked the best to me. She looks pretty emo or whatever there. Okay, so maybe there's nothing like too similar in these, so let's just work on the clothes. Call it a bikini. This sliding of the canvas always hurts my eyes. It's like in video movies where they do a very slow pan and everything, like the pan doesn't pan slow enough and it becomes painful to watch. Am I the only one that notices that? Okay. Okay. What's the hard light one? Linear light. Because that's coloring her eyeball. That's not good. There we go. Alright. So maybe we just shade this down here and then we'll be done with this panel, I guess. Or her hair, maybe. I don't know. I kind of like her hair just all colored. Maybe we'll just leave it like that. It looks real dark. Let's go for like a light blue. Alright, that looks good. Now, I think we'll call that done. Just move on to her hair up here. I feel like we're starting to get into movie title names. The air up there. Her hair up there. Isn't that a movie? Or the air up there? Let's get a little more color to it. Alright. I think we're pretty much done with her. Oh, we didn't do any of the multiply. Kind of give her a little bit more reddish skin tones in some spots. Just a little bit. Okay, so multiply layer. Alright, now she looks, I think her skin looks lighter after that, which is interesting. You know, like a fairer skin. Who's the fairest of them all? Okay, now let's pull his skin tone from previous page. His skin tone looks a little flat to me. It looks like it needs a little more red. Still kind of looks a little odd, not right to me. Now it's got some life. Maybe a little too dark. Struggling with that color. Okay, let's go with that. Maybe we should do the arm and backgrounds to help sort of establish foreground, background. Let's do a gradient type shading down here. Okay. I don't like this song. Let's put on some better music. And listen to Hello Nasty. Here it comes. Well, it's 50 cups of coffee, you know, it's on. I moved the crowd to the break of dawn. Can't rock the house without the party people. And we're getting down, we are all equal. I rock the mic so viciously, like pins and needles send words that sting. At the blink of an eye, I will do my thing. Alright, maybe we get his lip color. That's a little strong. Head hunting. Let me know I give you something, 'cause I can't give you all you need. I do think his lips look a little too red. So how about we just kind of erase those a little bit so he doesn't look like he's wearing makeup. Okay. Sometimes I move the screen around a little, trying to feel better about what I did. It's just a habit. Alright, so let's move on to maybe just do that in all dark. Kind of use the color like ink. I imagine Frank Miller would probably put that leg in black. Realign, I wonder what it is I hope to find. I don't mean to brag, I don't mean to boast, but I'm intercontinental when I eat French toast. With the scared the dog off. Alright. I feel like I gotta add some red to the ear to make it look really irritated or something. Maybe just do this whole leg in dark. Okay. I'm gonna add a lot of detail to this spot over here that's in focus. All right, now let's move on to the multiply layer and put some red. That looks like he's experiencing some pain. There we go. Let's just kind of do a little bit of like a rosy cheek a little bit down here. Pretty standard. Up. There we go. All right, I think we are pretty much done with all the shading except for the overalls. Let's do those and then we can call it quits for the live stream. All right, so we're getting some blue. Let's go with a little bit darker. I'm gonna go with like a really small, try to do like stitching lines. Not really, I should probably get a reference. I'm just kind of making this up. I think I'm a little bit cautious, or I feel just naturally cautious when it comes to this. Like, maybe I don't want to use real life references. Feel better, just kind of, because then it gets more and more realistic, and that's what I tend to do, is like tend to make it more realistic just naturally. So the more cartoony, the less realistic or folksy I can make it, the better. Let's go back to the 9. Okay. I'm just kind of trying a little bit of a varied style coloring or shading technique, so it feels unpredictable. All right. This looks a little odd. Why don't we subdue that a little bit? Or does that make it look worse? That makes it look worse. Let's undo that. I'm gonna just sort of blend it all into darkness. Just leave a little peak of detail. All right, I think that's good. Oh, I forgot about his hair. What did we do anything to his hair previously? Just kind of added some dark to it. I feel like maybe just doing a little bit of texture. Keep it unpredictable. Random. Okay. Let's do a slight highlight on this, since it's like so close in the foreground. Okay. I guess we could draw some shading on these blocks. I'm just going to do a multiply. I should probably come in later and do this, but let's go with like a almost like a skin tone. Well, I don't really know what the light source is, the angle for this light source is going to be, so I'm just kind of doing what looks right to me. We'll do like a little bit of a shadow under the block from above. Maybe just like a general kind of shading now. Yeah, that might be good enough. This reminds me of the tattoo design I did. Okay, we are done. Ta-da! Oh yeah, I forgot to do her hair. We'll do what is this color there? Gotta do it on color, and then we'll be done. Huh. Looks like I chose a different color. I've got it on super sensitive color detection on the wand. There we go. Nice. Alright, so this is Tales from the Crypt Keeper 18. This page will be available with the pre-order and the full thing, of course. But it'll be ready to view with the pre-order, and that will be in 2 days, which is the 30th on a Wednesday. Usually I do Sundays, but this is going to be Wednesday because there's no way I was going to be ready on Sunday. Alright, so thanks for sticking around and watching the live stream. I hope you enjoyed seeing some of the process, and it's always fun to watch stuff get colored. But I'll be on again more. I'll try to do another live stream on maybe X and live Twitter instead of YouTube, just for some variation. But again, Wednesday pre-orders out, and the rest of the comic will be the previous, or not the previous, the next month. and right around the same time when Tales from Crypt Keeper Volume is getting shipped out and delivered to doors. So thanks for stopping by, and I will see you next time. This is Okay, 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 Okay.